Welcome back to our channel Rare Coins Hub. In today's video we are going to explore something really interesting and exciting. Stay with us and don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. In the world of numismatics, coins often carry more than just monetary value. They encapsulate history, culture, and the stories of the people who use them. Among these is the 1960 USA 1 dime coin, a seemingly ordinary piece of currency with extraordinary significance. To truly understand the allure of this coin, we need to look back to the time when it was minted, explore its design, delve into the interesting details surrounding its production, and uncover the ways in which this coin has captivated collectors over the years. And in the end, we'll reveal why a 1961 dime coin is worth a staggering $134,000 today. The year 1960 was a pivotal moment in American history. The world was in the midst of the Cold War, the space race was gaining momentum, and the United States was dealing with the social and political upheavals of the time. The 1960s marked a decade of change and revolution, not just politically, but also culturally, with the rise of civil rights movements, the growth of youth countercultures, and the emergence of new technologies that would change the world forever. But amidst these grand shifts, a simple dime was circulating in the hands of Americans everywhere. At first glance, the 1961 dime coin seems just like any other, a small, silver-colored coin, with the familiar image of President Franklin D. Roosevelt on the obverse. Roosevelt's image had been used on the dime since 1946, just a year after his death, as a tribute to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. But little did people know, this particular year, 1960, would prove to be significant for a reason many would not have noticed at the time. You see, in 1960, the U.S. Mint was producing two different versions of the 1 dime coin, one with a mint mark and one without. This subtle difference in production would later lead to a remarkable discovery. But before we get into the specifics of the 1960 dime, let's take a moment to understand the context of the time and the significance of the dime itself. The dime, also known as the 10-cent coin, has been a staple of American currency since 1796. Over the years, it has undergone several design changes, but perhaps the most iconic and enduring design is the one we see on the 1960 coin. The obverse of the coin, which features a profile of Franklin D. Roosevelt, was designed by artist John R. Sinnock. Sinnock, the chief engraver at the U.S. Mint, had already designed Roosevelt's portrait back in 1945, shortly after the president's death. Sinnock's design was chosen to honor Roosevelt's legacy and contributions, particularly his role in navigating the country through the Great Depression and World War II. The reverse of the 1960 dime, like all dimes from the time, features a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. The simplicity and elegance of the design have made it one of the most recognizable and enduring motifs in American coinage. But despite the coin's familiar appearance, the 1960 issue has something unique about it that would go unnoticed by most people for decades. Now, let's take a closer look at what makes the 1961 dime coin so special. In 1960, the U.S. Mint was producing coins at various locations, including the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The Philadelphia Mint was the primary facility for striking dimes, but in 1960, for the first time in many years, a batch of dimes was struck in Denver, and these dimes were not initially given a mint mark. This lack of a mint mark was due to an oversight at the time, and it wasn't until later that the mistake was discovered. Typically, coins produced at the Denver Mint carry the D mint mark, while those produced at the Philadelphia Mint are left blank, signifying their origin. But in 1960, for a brief period, some coins were struck in Philadelphia without any mint mark. This omission would go unnoticed by most at the time, but as years passed, collectors began to take note of this anomaly. It wasn't until much later that numismatists realized the importance of the 1960 dimes without mint marks. These particular coins are incredibly rare, so rare, in fact, that they are considered among the most valuable dimes in existence. In the years following 1960, collectors started to seek out these rare, mint-mark-less dimes, and their value began to rise. But what makes these coins even more intriguing is the condition in which they are found. As with many older coins, the state of preservation plays a critical role in determining their value. Coins that are well preserved, those that show minimal wear, have sharp details, and retain their original luster, are highly sought after by collectors. The 1960 dimes without mint marks that have survived in excellent condition are rare indeed, and they are now considered one of the holy grails of numismatics. In fact, one such coin, a 1960 dime with no mint mark in near-perfect condition, sold at auction for a staggering $134,000. Now, let's break down exactly why a coin like the 1960 no mint mark dime could fetch such an impressive price. For starters, rarity is one of the most important factors that drive the value of any coin. The 1960 dime without a mint mark is incredibly rare because only a small number of them were produced. While the vast majority of dimes struck in 1960 have the D mint mark from the Denver Mint, the Philadelphia Mint's error coins are few and far between. As a result, collectors covet these coins, driving up their value over time, but rarity alone doesn't explain the sky-high price of the 1960 dime. The condition of the coin also plays a crucial role in its worth. Coins that have been kept in pristine condition are valued much higher than those that show significant wear and tear. A well-preserved 1960 no mint mark dime represents a unique and flawless piece of American history, and it is this perfection that makes it so valuable to collectors. Another factor contributing to the value of the 1960 dime is its historical significance. Coins often carry with them the stories of the times in which they were minted. The 1960 dime is no different. It is a snapshot of a pivotal year in American history. The coin represents an era of change, of new frontiers and challenges, and of a nation on the brink of major cultural, political, and technological shifts. For collectors, owning a coin that represents such a unique moment in time adds to its appeal and value. But perhaps the most exciting part of the 1960 dime story is the way its value has skyrocketed in recent years. What was once a simple dime, circulated widely and thought to be of little significance, has become a treasure sought after by collectors and investors alike. The discovery of the 1960 no mint mark dimes, combined with their rarity and historical importance, has made them a highly prized item in the numismatic world. The dramatic rise in value of the 1960 no mint mark dime serves as a reminder of how the world of coin collecting can be full of surprises. What may seem like an ordinary coin can, over time, become a valuable artifact worth thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, of dollars. And this is exactly what makes the world of numismatics so fascinating: the stories behind the coins, the mysteries they hold, and the unexpected treasures they can become. To this day, the 1960 no mint mark dime remains one of the most sought-after coins by collectors, with prices reaching incredible heights. The coin's value is not just a reflection of its rarity, but also of the rich history and the collectors who have worked tirelessly to track down and preserve these remarkable pieces of American currency. For anyone fortunate enough to own one of these coins, they hold a piece of history in their hands, quite literally. So, the next time you come across a coin from 1960, take a moment to appreciate its historical significance. And who knows? You may just be holding on to a rare treasure, a coin worth more than you could have ever imagined. The 1960 no mint mark dime is a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, anything is possible. And as we wrap up the story of the 1960 dime, it's time for the big reveal. The coin's current value is nothing short of remarkable. At $134,000, the 1960 no mint mark dime stands as one of the most valuable dimes in existence, a symbol of the incredible journey that a seemingly ordinary coin can take over the course of decades. The 1961 dime coin's value has grown beyond anyone's wildest expectations, and its story is a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or a casual enthusiast, the 1960 no mint mark dime will always hold a special place in the hearts of those who appreciate the wonders of history and the beauty of rare coins. So, next time you find yourself digging through old change, remember, there might just be a hidden gem waiting for you, one that could change The 1973 USA 1 dime coin, which might seem like just another small denomination coin to the casual observer, actually carries a fascinating narrative of historical significance, manufacturing anomalies, and surprising value that has captured the attention of collectors and investors alike. This story is not just about a coin, it's about an unexpected treasure that found its way into the world of numismatics, leaving a mark that would last for decades. To understand why the 1973 dime is so remarkable, we must first go back to the era in which it was struck. The year 1973 was a year of considerable change for the United States, both politically and socially. The country was embroiled in the Watergate scandal, which would eventually lead to the resignation of President Richard Nixon in 1974. The Vietnam War was winding down, though the long-term consequences of the conflict would still be felt for years to come. Meanwhile, the American economy was grappling with issues such as inflation and the oil crisis, which would bring about significant economic shifts in the years that followed. In this era of political turbulence and social transformation, the U.S. Mint continued its work behind the scenes, producing coins for circulation that were, in their own right, telling a story of the times. One of those coins was the 1973 dime, a seemingly unremarkable 10-cent piece that would, over time, come to captivate the interest of collectors. But what makes the 1973 dime so special, you might wonder? After all, this was a time when coins were still being made of a mixture of copper and silver, but the silver content was already on its way out. By the 1970s, the U.S. government had already begun shifting toward a more affordable mix of copper-nickel for its smaller denominations, including the dime. So, when you look at the 1973 dime, it may seem like just another typical coin of the era, with a familiar design that many collectors would recognize, but as with many historical coins, appearances can be deceiving. The design of the 1973 dime is, in fact, part of what makes it so enduringly iconic. The dime features the image of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, who had passed away in 1945. Roosevelt's portrait had been chosen as the design for the dime shortly after his death as a tribute to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. This design, crafted by artist John R. Sinek, would go on to be one of the longest-running coin designs in American history, remaining on the dime to this day. On the reverse side of the 1973 dime, the design is equally recognizable. The reverse features a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. The torch symbolizes liberty, while the olive branch represents peace and the oak branch symbolizes strength. The design was meant to reflect the virtues that Franklin D. Roosevelt himself stood for, and it was widely praised for its elegance and simplicity. This reverse design, too, has remained a staple of the dime's identity for many years, with very few changes since its inception. While the design may have remained consistent over the years, the production process for the 1973 dime is where things begin to get interesting. For much of the 20th century, the United States Mint had been operating several facilities across the country to produce coins. The two primary locations for striking dimes in 1973 were the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The coins produced at these facilities were distinguished by their mint marks, D for Denver and no mint mark for Philadelphia. These mint marks helped collectors and numismatists track where a particular coin was made, and they would play a key role in the 1973 dime's future value. During the production of the 1973 dimes, however, there was a slight variation in the quality and characteristics of the coins struck at the different mint facilities. While most coins that were produced at these mints had a relatively standard appearance, some were struck with slight imperfections or variations, which would become significant over time as collectors began to notice them. These subtle errors and differences would set the 1973 dimes apart from others of its kind, and eventually, they would lead to a greater appreciation for the coin as a valuable collector's item. But perhaps the most important factor in the 1973 dime's future value was not just the errors that were struck during its minting, but rather the sheer rarity of certain coins from that year. Like any collectible item, the rarity of a coin is often one of the driving factors that determines its value. When it comes to the 1973 dime, certain variations and conditions have made it particularly rare, leading to a significant increase in its value among collectors. So, what exactly makes the 1973 dime so valuable? In order to fully understand its appeal, we need to look at the specific circumstances surrounding the coins that were struck in that year. As mentioned earlier, the U.S. Mint produced dimes at both the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. However, a certain error in the production process led to the creation of an extremely rare variation of the 1973 dime. This variation involved a series of dimes that were struck without a mint mark, despite being produced at the Denver Mint, where dimes were typically marked with a D. These coins, without the D mint mark, were initially overlooked, as they were assumed to be regular Philadelphia Mint coins. It wasn't until years later that collectors began to realize the rarity of these, no mint mark, 1973 dimes. The error had created a coin that was not only rare, but also a symbol of the unpredictability of the coin manufacturing process. As word spread among collectors about the existence of these rare dimes, demand began to grow, and the value of these particular coins began to skyrocket. The reason for the coin's dramatic rise in value is multifaceted. First, there's the rarity factor. Fewer 1,973 dimes without mint marks were produced, making them harder to find. Second, there's the historical context. Coins that were made during times of political and social change, like the early 1970s, often carry a sense of nostalgia and historical significance that enhances their appeal. Finally, there's the quality of the coin itself. The 1973 dimes that survived in pristine condition, with minimal wear and a strong, clear strike, are considered among the most valuable in the world of numismatics. As with any coin, the condition in which it is found is paramount. Coins that are well preserved, with sharp details and little to no wear, can command much higher prices than coins that have been heavily circulated. The 1973 dime, especially the rare, no mint mark variety, is no exception. When one of these coins is found in exceptional condition, it can fetch astronomical amounts at auction, as collectors are eager to add such a rare and valuable piece to their collections. Now, let's talk about the current value of the 1973 no mint mark dime. In recent years, the price of this coin has reached impressive heights. While typical dimes from 1973 may only be worth a few dollars at best, the rare, no mint mark variety can be worth up to $125,000 in exceptional condition. Yes, you heard that right, $125,000 for a single dime, a coin that many people might have once thought was just another piece of change. This remarkable value is a testament to the enduring appeal of rare and historic coins and the fascinating world of numismatics. In fact, as the popularity of coin collecting continues to grow, the value of the 1973 no mint mark dime may continue to rise, as more collectors discover the coin and seek to add it to their portfolios. Its rarity, historical significance, and remarkable story all contribute to its ongoing allure, and for collectors, owning a 1973 no mint mark dime is akin to possessing a piece of history. So, the next time you come across a 1973 dime, take a closer look. It might just be the rare coin you've been waiting for. Who would have thought that a small, seemingly insignificant coin from the early 1970s could one day be worth $125,000? It's a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the most unexpected items can become the most valuable treasures. Coins are much more than just currency. They are artifacts, each telling its own story about a moment in time, a change in history, or an anomaly in production that could make it worth far more than its face value. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into one of those rare and remarkable coins, the 1983 USA 1 dime coin. You might think, a dime from 1983? How interesting could that be? But believe me, this coin has a captivating story to tell, filled with historical significance, surprising minting anomalies, and, most intriguingly, a shocking value that will leave you in awe. Stick around, because at the end, we'll reveal how this seemingly ordinary dime is now worth $114,000. Let's begin by setting the stage in the year 1983. The United States was in the midst of a transformative period, both politically and culturally. Ronald Reagan was midway through his first term as president, and the country was navigating a complex global landscape, facing the aftermath of the Vietnam War, the rise of new economic policies, and the changing tides of the Cold War. At home, the country was beginning to embrace new technologies, with personal computers becoming more accessible and the music scene dominated by new wave and rock. In the world of coinage, however, things were much simpler. The U.S. Mint was still producing coins for daily use, and the design of those coins, particularly the dime, was already deeply embedded in the national consciousness. The one-dime coin, valued at 10 cents, had been in circulation for nearly a century and a half by 1983, and its design had remained largely unchanged for several decades. Yet, as is often the case with coins, small variations and anomalies in production could transform an ordinary coin into an extraordinary one. Before we dive into what makes the 1983 one-dime coin so special, let's first take a look at the design. The design of the dime, featuring Franklin D. Roosevelt, has become one of the most recognizable and enduring in American coinage. Roosevelt's image, created by artist John R. Sinek, had been used on the dime since 1946, a year after his death, as a tribute to his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. The portrait on the obverse of the coin captures Roosevelt in profile, his features carefully crafted to reflect the dignity and strength of the man who had guided the nation through one of its most difficult times. On the reverse side of the 1983 dime, the design is equally iconic. It features a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch, symbols of liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. This simple yet powerful design has been used on the dime for decades and is widely regarded as one of the most elegant and meaningful representations of American values. At first glance, the 1983 dime appears to be just another piece of currency. It doesn't stand out in any particularly remarkable way. However, what makes this coin so interesting is not just the design, but the fact that it marked a major shift in the way U.S. coins were being made. The 1980s were a time of significant change in the U.S. Mint, particularly when it came to the metals used in coin production. The rising cost of silver in the 1960s had already led to the removal of silver from most circulating coins by 1970, and by 1982, the Mint was transitioning all of its coinage, including the dime, to a predominantly copper-nickel composition. This shift was not only a response to the increasing cost of raw materials but also an effort to maintain the functionality and durability of coins while reducing production costs. For the 1983 dime, the composition was a blend of copper and nickel, with a 91.67% copper core and 8.33% nickel alloy. This change meant that the coin was much less valuable in terms of metal content than its silver predecessors. But it also made the dime cheaper to produce, and this shift would play an important role in the fate of the 1983 dime coin. Now, let's talk about the key feature that would set the 1983 dime apart from other coins in circulation that year, the so-called 1983 no-S dime. The mystery surrounding the 1983 no-S dime begins with a simple oversight. The U.S. Mint, like any large operation, has certain procedures and standards in place to ensure consistency in the coins it produces. For years, coins minted in San Francisco carried an S mint mark, indicating their place of origin. However, in 1983, something went wrong. Some dimes struck at the San Francisco Mint were accidentally issued without the S mint mark, making them unique and extremely rare. This mistake was particularly significant because the San Francisco Mint primarily produced proof coins, which are specially struck, high-quality versions of regular coins, often made for collectors. Regular circulation coins typically did not have mint marks unless they were produced in Denver or Philadelphia. San Francisco coins were the exception, and the presence of a mint mark was expected to be a given. The 1983 no-S dime, therefore, is a rarity, an error coin that slipped through the cracks, unnoticed by most people at the time. These coins were not only struck without a mint mark, but they were also proof quality, which meant they had been produced with much higher standards of detail and craftsmanship than typical circulating coins. When collectors began to discover the existence of these no-s dimes, they were stunned by their rarity, and their value started to climb. However, this wasn't a mistake that would have been easy to spot for the average person. After all, most people would not have paid much attention to the mint mark on their dimes, assuming they were all just like any other. It wasn't until years later, when numismatists and collectors began to take a closer look at the 1983 dimes, that the no-s variety was identified as an error. And once it was discovered, demand for this coin exploded. The rarity of the 1983 no-s dime is what makes it so appealing to collectors. The mint produced only a small number of these error coins, and because they were released into circulation, many of them were lost or damaged over time. Coins that survive in pristine condition are highly coveted, and the few remaining examples of the 1983 no-s dime are considered among the holy grails of modern American coinage. But as with all valuable coins, condition is crucial. The 1983 no-s dimes that are still in excellent, uncirculated condition command the highest prices on the market. These coins, which were likely kept in pristine condition due to their status as proof coins, have become some of the most sought-after and expensive dimes in existence. A well-preserved example of the 1983 no-s dime can fetch tens of thousands of dollars at auction, and in some cases, even more. So, what is the current value of the 1983 no-s dime? The value of this coin has skyrocketed over the years as more collectors have discovered its rarity and significance. While a typical 1983 dime is worth only 10 cents, the 1983 no-s dime can sell for as much as $114,000, depending on its condition. Yes, you heard that right, $114,000 for a single dime. This staggering value is a testament to how a simple production error, combined with rarity and demand, can elevate the worth of a coin beyond anyone's expectations. The story of the 1983 no-s dime is a fascinating one, reminding us of the unpredictable nature of coin collecting. What may seem like an ordinary, everyday coin can, in the right circumstances, become a rare and valuable treasure. The 1983 no-s dime is a prime example of how a small mistake in the minting process can lead to a coin that is highly coveted by collectors and worth far more than its face value. The 1983 no-s dime is a testament to the allure of rare coins and the endless excitement of numismatics. It shows us that even in a world full of millions of coins circulating every day, there are still hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. For anyone lucky enough to find a 1983 no-s dime, they are holding a piece of history, and a potential fortune, in their hands. So, the next time you find yourself sorting through a jar of spare change, remember this story. There might just be a 1983 no-s dime among them, and if you're lucky enough to spot one, you could be holding on to a coin worth far more than you ever imagined. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and sometimes, the most unexpected coins are the ones that turn out to be the most valuable, and that's the story of the 1983 USA 1 dime coin. From a simple error in minting to a coin worth $114,000, it's a perfect example of how the world of numismatics is filled with hidden treasures and fascinating stories that continue to unfold with every new discovery. Now, you might think, a dime from 1996. Isn't that just another modern coin? Well, that's where the story gets interesting. This seemingly ordinary coin, which most people probably overlooked in their pocket change, has a remarkable tale to tell. It's a tale that involves rare minting errors, surprising collector interest, and a value that will likely leave you astonished. Stick around as we unravel the story of the 1996 1 dime and how it transformed from a regular coin to a sought-after collector's treasure worth $106,000. Let's set the scene first. The year 1996 was a time of significant change for both the United States and the world. On the global stage, the world was seeing the aftermath of the Cold War, with nations transitioning to new political landscapes. The United States was also experiencing major technological advances, as the internet began to take off and personal computers started to revolutionize society. The Clinton administration was in power, and while there were various political and economic shifts, one thing remained constant: the minting of American coins. The United States Mint continued to produce coins in 1996 that would be seen in circulation, with the dime being one of the most widely used coins of that time. At first glance, the 1996 dime doesn't seem particularly different from the dimes that had been minted for decades. It features the portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, designed by John R. Sinek, which has graced the dime since 1946 as a tribute to Roosevelt's leadership during the Great Depression and World War II. Roosevelt's image on the obverse side of the coin symbolizes his enduring legacy, as his face became a permanent fixture on the dime in honor of his contributions to the nation's recovery and success. On the reverse side of the 1996 dime, we see the iconic design featuring a torch flanked by an olive branch and an oak branch. These elements represent liberty, peace, and strength, and the design has remained largely unchanged for decades. The simple yet powerful symbolism of the reverse design underscores the values that the U.S. Mint sought to communicate to the American public. The classic look of the dime is immediately recognizable and timeless. So far, we've been talking about the dime as just another regular coin in circulation, right? It seems like nothing special, just a modern piece of currency. However, as we begin to dive deeper into the history of the 1996 dime, we'll find that there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Let's take a closer look at how the dimes were produced during this period and what made the 1996 one dime a coin worth remembering. In the mid-1990s, the U.S. Mint was still operating its primary coin-producing facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Most of the circulating coins, including the 1996 dime, were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, while the San Francisco Mint primarily focused on producing proof coins, specially struck coins intended for collectors, often featuring higher quality strikes and finishes. For the 1996 dime, the coins were made primarily from a mixture of copper and nickel, a standard alloy that had been in use since the early 1980s. This copper-nickel composition ensured that the dimes remained durable for everyday use, although they contained little intrinsic value beyond their face value. But here's where things start to get interesting: not all 1996 dimes were created equally. Among the coins produced in 1996, there was a rare error, an error that would cause this otherwise ordinary coin to become a highly valuable collectible. As with many other notable coin errors, it was a small mistake in the minting process that led to an extraordinary result. The 1996 dime error in question involved a rare variety of dimes that were struck with a die that had been improperly prepared. In the world of coin production, dies are tools that are used to strike images onto the blank coins, imprinting the designs we see on the finished pieces. The die preparation process is incredibly precise and essential for ensuring the coins have the right details and clarity. However, in 1996, something went wrong during the preparation of some of the dimes. Due to a malfunction in the die or an error in the striking process, a limited number of dimes were produced with unusual characteristics. This was no ordinary flaw, though; it was a significant and obvious error that would have been difficult for the mint to overlook. Some of these dimes had the wrong number of ridges or even no ridges at all on the edge, which caused them to stand out from the rest of the 1996 coins. This misstep, while not immediately noticed by the general public, quickly caught the attention of collectors and coin enthusiasts, who recognized that this was a rare and highly sought-after anomaly. Collectors began to carefully search for these error dimes, hoping to find one that had escaped the attention of the mint or was still in pristine condition. The hunt for these rare coins became a pursuit for many dedicated collectors, especially those who specialized in error coins, a niche but highly passionate subset of numismatics. As time went on, the demand for these particular dimes grew, and it wasn't long before prices started to rise. The rarity of these coins, combined with the historical intrigue of their error, made them increasingly valuable. But why was the 1996 dime error so appealing to collectors? For one, the error was particularly noticeable. The faulty dies produced coins that looked distinctly different from the regular dimes, making them easier to identify. This made them a highly attractive addition to any coin collection, as error coins are prized for their uniqueness and their ability to tell a different story from the standard versions that were produced. Additionally, errors like these are often rare, making them even more desirable to collectors who are constantly seeking out unusual and scarce coins to add to their portfolios. As is often the case with rare coins, condition plays a critical role in determining value. A 1996 dime in excellent, uncirculated condition is worth far more than one that has been circulated and worn down over the years. The coins that were released into circulation and remained in mint condition are the ones that now fetch the highest prices on the market. And when it comes to this specific error variety of the 1996 dime, finding one that remains in pristine condition is an extraordinary find, and it can command a premium price. So, what is the current value of the 1996 USA 1 dime coin, specifically the error variety? After years of growing interest and increasing rarity, the 1996 dime has reached a stunning value of up to $106,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $106,000 for a single dime. While this value may seem astonishing for such a small coin, it's a perfect example of how the world of coin collecting can elevate even the most unassuming items into rare treasures. The 1996 dime is a great reminder of the unpredictable nature of numismatics. Coins that may seem insignificant at first glance can, in the right circumstances, become valuable and collectible treasures. The 1996 1 dime is a prime example of how a small mistake, combined with rarity and a growing collector base, can turn an ordinary piece of currency into something worth a small fortune. For those who happen to find a 1996 error dime in excellent condition, they're holding more than just a coin, they're holding a piece of history. It's a reminder of how the pursuit of rare and unique items in the world of numismatics can uncover hidden treasures and fascinating stories. And for anyone lucky enough to find one of these dimes, they may soon discover just how much a little dime from 1996 can truly be worth. As we wrap up this journey through the 1996 USA 1 dime coin's fascinating history, it's clear that this coin is much more than a mere 10-cent piece. With its distinctive error, historical significance, and the incredible value it commands today, the 1996 dime has become one of the most sought-after coins for collectors. Who would have thought that a coin so small and seemingly inconspicuous could one day be worth $106,000? It's proof that in the world of numismatics, there's always something new to discover, and sometimes, the most unexpected coins can become the most valuable. Coins are more than just the currency we use every day, they hold pieces of history, tell stories of triumph and change, and sometimes, they can become unexpected treasures. Today, we're going to delve into the story of a coin that might seem like just another dime from the early 2000s, but trust me, there's more to it than meets the eye. We're talking about the 2002 USA 1 dime coin, a small yet fascinating piece of American history, one that has garnered considerable attention in the numismatic world. As we journey through the details of this coin's design, its minting, and its rise to fame, will reveal just how it became a coin worth $92,000, far beyond its modest face value. Let's set the scene in 2002, a year of transition and significance for the United States. The country was recovering from the devastating events of September 11, 2001, and the world was on the brink of the technological age. In the realm of pop culture, we were seeing the rise of early internet culture, with social media and online communication becoming more integrated into everyday life. The United States was also heavily involved in foreign policy, particularly in the Middle East, as the War on Terror unfolded. Coinage in the United States, however, remained more or less consistent, with familiar designs continuing to be minted. The dime, which had featured the portrait of President Franklin D. Roosevelt since 1946, remained a symbol of American strength, resilience, and unity. While 2002 itself was not a year that necessarily stood out in the world of American coinage, it did mark an important time for the mint as the country navigated the modern age. The 2002 dime, while appearing similar to other dimes of the time, was still part of a significant era for the U.S. Mint. This coin was part of the continued series of dimes struck with the iconic design featuring Roosevelt's portrait. The design of the dime, as many numismatists and collectors know, has not changed dramatically since Roosevelt's image was first introduced, with the reverse side featuring the symbolic torch, olive branch, and oak branch, representing liberty, peace, and strength. But while the 2002 dime didn't change much in terms of its overall design, there were subtle factors at play that would later make this coin significant in the world of coin collecting. The production process during this time was influenced by technological advancements, and there was a growing demand for coins that reflected the continued evolution of American currency. In the early 2000s, the U.S. Mint was focused on producing coins that met the increasing demand for everyday circulation. This was especially true for dimes, which were heavily used in everyday transactions. The 2002 dimes were minted primarily in Philadelphia and Denver, two of the country's major mints. However, the process of coin production was about to undergo some notable changes, some of which would eventually lead to the coin's appeal among collectors. One of the most fascinating aspects of the 2002 dime involves a series of rare, limited edition coins that were minted that year. These coins, while not necessarily produced in vast numbers, became highly sought after due to certain errors and anomalies that occurred during their production. It wasn't unusual for the U.S. Mint to make mistakes during the minting process, but what made these 2002 dimes particularly intriguing was the timing and the conditions under which they were struck. As with most coins, the production process begins with the creation of dies, which are then used to strike images onto the blank coins. In 2002, the dimes struck at the various mints in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco were all intended to bear the same standard designs. However, the nature of coin production is complex, and even slight issues with the dies or the minting process can lead to remarkable errors. In this case, certain dimes from the 2002 mintage were struck with imperfect dies, leading to several key errors. These errors, which could include things like doubling in the design, off-center strikes, or even die cracks, made some of the 2002 dimes unique and valuable. While it's not uncommon to find minor errors in everyday coinage, the 2002 dimes with noticeable imperfections stood out due to their rarity and the distinctiveness of the errors. Some collectors even began to notice that a small number of these dimes exhibited die rotations, a phenomenon where the image on the coin is struck at an angle, rather than being aligned with the usual orientation. This type of error is particularly interesting to coin collectors because it is both unusual and striking in its visual appeal. Collectors who specialize in error coins quickly recognized the significance of the 2002 dimes with these unusual traits, and demand for these error varieties grew rapidly. Now, let's talk about the minting composition. Like many of the dimes produced around this time, the 2002 coin was made of a clad composition, meaning it had a core of pure copper, with an outer layer made of a mix of copper and nickel. This blend ensured that the dimes were both durable and affordable to produce, keeping costs low for the U.S. Mint while still providing a functional coin that would stand up to everyday use. While the metal composition itself didn't hold significant intrinsic value, it was an essential aspect of coin production during this period. The minting process in 2002 also marked a transition in the technological advances being used in U.S. coin production. The U.S. Mint was beginning to implement more automated systems, which helped speed up the production of coins and reduced the likelihood of human error. However, it's important to note that even with these advances, errors still slipped through the cracks, as was the case with the 2002 dimes. These rare anomalies would eventually drive the price and value of the coins up, especially among collectors who appreciated the rarity and historical significance of error coins. So, what is it about the 2002 dime that makes it so appealing to collectors? Like many coins that are part of a series, collectors often seek out coins that are unique or in particularly rare condition. In the case of the 2002 dime, it's the scarcity of the error coins, combined with their distinctive features, that has led to their growing appeal. Over time, the 2002 dime era coins became highly coveted by numismatists, and demand continued to grow. Coin dealers, collectors, and enthusiasts all began to search for these rare dimes, contributing to the rising value of the coin in the marketplace. But as with most rare collectibles, the key to determining the value of these era coins lies in their condition and rarity. A 2002 dime that was struck with an error, particularly one with noticeable features like die rotations or doubling, can fetch thousands of dollars at auction. But the most remarkable example of this coin is one that has been preserved in perfect condition, free of wear and damage. Such coins, particularly those with multiple striking errors, can command incredible prices. Some of these dimes have sold for upwards of $92,000, a staggering amount for a coin with a face value of only 10 cents. The 2002 USA 1 dime is a prime example of how the world of coin collecting works. A simple mistake, a rare variation, or an anomaly in production can transform an ordinary coin into a valuable treasure. It's a reminder that numismatics is not just about collecting coins, it's about uncovering stories, discovering hidden gems, and finding rare pieces of history that have the potential to change lives. So, how did this unassuming 2002 dime end up becoming worth $92,000? The rarity of the era coins, combined with their growing recognition in the collector's market, has made them incredibly valuable. As collectors continue to seek out these rare dimes, their value is expected to remain high, and even increase in the coming years as fewer of these era coins remain in circulation. The 2002 1 dime coin is a fascinating case study in how the world of numismatics works. What seems like a small, insignificant coin can, in the right circumstances, become a highly sought-after piece of history. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who's just beginning to explore the world of coins, the 2002 dime serves as a perfect example of how something as simple as a mistake can turn a coin into a valuable treasure. So, if you happen to come across a 2002 dime in your spare change, take a closer look. You might be holding on to more than just a regular dime. You could be holding on to a rare, error-filled coin worth far more than its face value. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the 2002 1 dime is a reminder that sometimes, the most unexpected coins are the ones that hold the greatest value.